Action.
Hi, this is Bob Leonetti, and I'm here at my Financial Mastery Workshop in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, I promised all of my students today, we asked them actually a big, huge question, which was, how many of you would like to learn how to speak or do some public speaking? And a lot of hands went up. And of course, my partner, Roland, who's moving the camera up and down over there, volunteered that I would put together several tips. In fact, we're going to do 15 separate tips on how to speak in public. And of course, everybody said, oh my goodness, let's go ahead and do that. So I promised that I would film that at lunch today during day 2 of my workshop. So here we are. In fact, you can see the room. We're sitting here in Vegas. Roland's going to pan around there. And you'll see that we are doing what we said we are going to do. Now, having said that, the first thing that you're going to want to remember is that you are responsible for introducing yourself. I don't care if somebody else introduces you or if you introduce yourself. You need to come up with some sort of a short biographical introduction that you can hand to somebody else and have them introduce you. Now, here's my suggestions on that. First of all, you don't want to mention your name until right before you come up. The introduction has to include other things about you, and it might be things about when they first met you or when they first came in contact with you. An introduction is best if done as a story. You know, the very first time I met this gentleman who's about to come up, he said, da, 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 da. So have them tell a little personal story about you. And then after you finish the personal story, the next thing is to have them list your accomplishments. So I might say about Roland, you know, the very, very first time I met him, Roland was a student of mine, and we hit it off really well personally. In fact, one of the cool things I remember about Roland was we went to a blah, 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 blah. So a nice little insightful story. And then, if I were to go on with Roland, I'd say, you know, but the reason that he's here today is because of the many accomplishments that he's done and his willingness to share them with you. And then I would go on and talk about Roland's accomplishments, whether he's written books, whether he has recorded videos, whether he's spoken to thousands of people. Maybe he's an expert on short sales. Maybe he's an expert on real estate. Whatever it is, you want to list the expertise, which will either give yourself credibility or have the other speaker give you credibility. When that's complete, then the speaker is going to say, so if you would, please put your hands together and welcome to the front of the room, and then they're going to list your name. So if I were introducing, let's say I'm going to introduce my partner, Jamie. Let me go ahead and give you just an example of an introduction. You know, when I first met this lady, I was really impressed because, well, let me rephrase that. When I first, see, by the way, you got to practice this stuff too. This is totally off the cuff. You know, the next lady you're about to meet that's coming up this afternoon is very quite special. Let me tell you just a little bit about her. When I very first met Jamie, it was back in 1992, and she was working for the same company that I was working for. Now, that wasn't the impressive part. The impressive part was that she had been a speaker for another company in Florida, and I found out that she was the only person in that entire company who actually had done what she was teaching. Well, that was pretty impressive, but then I started working with her and realized here is a lady who is an expert at what she does. Over the last 15 years, she started a business out of her house, which she took public in 6 months, or 6 years. Quit doing the thing on me, we have to start this all over anyway.